United States, under the leadership of President Donald Trump, has levied new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. This time, however, the international response has been particularly swift and unified. The United States, Canada, and the European Union, traditional allies of the U.S., have condemned the tariffs and announced plans for retaliatory measures. This transatlantic alliance signals a potential shift in global trade dynamics, raising questions about the future of the G7 and the multilateral trading system itself. In early February 2025, President Trump announced the imposition of a 25% tariff on steel imports, a move that sent shockwaves through the global trade community, and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports. These tariffs were aimed at revitalizing the American steel and aluminum industries, which had been struggling to compete with cheaper foreign imports for years. These tariffs, he argued, are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. Trump emphasized that the tariffs would help to bring back manufacturing jobs to the United States, which he claimed had been lost due to unfair trade practices by other countries. The move marks a return to the America First policies that characterized Trump's first term, policies that sparked trade wars and heightened global economic uncertainty. Critics argue that these policies could lead to retaliatory tariffs from other countries, further escalating trade tensions. The president justified the tariffs on national security grounds, claiming that reliance on foreign steel and aluminum weakens the United States' industrial base. He argued that a strong domestic steel and aluminum industry is crucial for national defense and infrastructure projects. However, many experts view this justification as dubious, arguing that the real motivation lies in Trump's desire to appease his political base and fulfill campaign promises. They point out that the tariffs could lead to higher costs for American consumers and businesses, potentially harming the economy. The tariffs have been met with widespread criticism, both domestically and internationally. Many fear that the tariffs could lead to a trade war, with other countries imposing their own tariffs on American goods, ultimately hurting global trade and economic growth. Canada and the European Union, two of the United States' closest trading partners, have been quick to denounce the tariffs. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the tariffs unacceptable and vowed to respond with retaliatory measures on a dollar-for-dollar basis. Similarly, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen promised a firm and proportionate response, emphasizing the EU's commitment to defending its interests. The coordinated response from Canada and the EU highlights the growing frustration with the Trump administration's unilateral approach to trade. Both partners have stressed their commitment to the rules-based multilateral trading system and have vowed to challenge the tariffs through the World Trade Organization. The strong transatlantic alliance against the tariffs sends a powerful message to Washington. Protectionist policies will be met with resolute opposition. The escalating trade dispute has cast a long shadow over the Group of Seven, an informal forum of the world's leading economies, including Canada, the EU, and the United States. The G7, already grappling with internal divisions on issues such as climate change and multilateralism, now faces the threat of a full-blown trade war among its members. The tariffs have exposed the deep fissures within the G7, raising questions about the group's ability to effectively address global economic challenges. Canada and the EU, traditionally more aligned with the United States on trade matters, have demonstrated a willingness to stand up to Washington's protectionist policies. This newfound assertiveness suggests a potential shift in G7 dynamics, one in which the United States may find itself increasingly isolated. Section 5. The Multilateral Trading System Under Threat, Expert Perspectives. The imposition of tariffs by the United States has sparked widespread concern among economists and trade experts, who warn of the potential damage to the multilateral trading system. The WTO, the cornerstone of global trade governance, is already facing challenges to its legitimacy and effectiveness. Critics argue that the Trump administration's actions undermine the rules-based trading order that has underpinned global economic growth for decades. By resorting to unilateral tariffs, the United States risks triggering a spiral of protectionism as other countries retaliate in kind. This, experts warn, could lead to a fragmentation of the global economy with damaging consequences for businesses and consumers alike. Section 6. Economic fallout disrupted supply chains and consumer costs. The economic fallout from the tariffs is already being felt across various sectors. Factories are slowing down production as they struggle to source materials at reasonable prices. Retail stores are facing empty shelves, unable to stock products that consumers need. The tariffs have disrupted global supply chains as businesses grapple with increased costs and uncertainty. Cargo ships are delayed at ports, and companies are holding urgent meetings to find alternative suppliers and routes. Consumers are also feeling the pinch, as the tariffs drive up prices for a wide range of goods, from automobiles to household appliances. Shoppers are noticing higher price tags on everyday items, making it harder for families to budget. The tariffs have also raised concerns about job losses, particularly in industries that rely heavily on imported steel and aluminum. Factories are shutting down, and workers are protesting, fearing for their livelihoods. While the Trump administration argues that the tariffs will ultimately protect American jobs, many economists disagree, pointing out that the tariffs will likely lead to job losses in other sectors of the economy. The debate continues, with experts weighing in on both sides. The long-term economic impact of the tariffs remains uncertain, but the short-term consequences are already being felt by businesses and consumers around the world. Business owners are distressed, and consumers are facing increased prices on groceries and other essentials, adding to the financial strain. Section 7. Beyond tariffs, the broader context of US-EU tensions. The current trade dispute between the United States, Canada, and the EU cannot be viewed in isolation. It is a symptom of deeper, more systemic issues that have been brewing for years. The complexities of international trade are intertwined with political, economic, and social factors that go beyond mere tariffs and trade balances. It is part of a broader pattern of growing transatlantic tensions, fueled by disagreements over issues ranging from climate change to defense spending. The divergence in policies and priorities between the US and the EU has created a rift that is becoming increasingly difficult to bridge. To the Iran nuclear deal. The US withdrawal from the agreement has not only strained relations with Iran, but also with European allies who remain committed to the deal. This has led to a complex web of diplomatic challenges that require careful navigation. The Trump administration's America First approach to foreign policy has alienated many traditional US allies, including those in Europe. This policy shift has led to a sense of unpredictability and mistrust, making it harder for allies to rely on the US as a stable partner. The imposition of tariffs on steel and aluminum imports is seen by many as yet another example of the United States acting unilaterally, without regard for the interests of its partners. These actions have sparked retaliatory measures, further escalating the trade conflict and impacting global markets. The current trade dispute has further strained transatlantic relations, making it more difficult to find common ground on a range of pressing global challenges. From addressing climate change to managing international security threats, the ability of the US and EU to collaborate effectively is being tested like never before. The outcome of these tensions will have far-reaching implications for the future of global diplomacy and international relations. Section 8. A pivotal moment, the Canada-EU alliance and its implications. The coordinated response from Canada and the EU to the US tariffs marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of global trade governance. The transatlantic alliance against protectionism has the potential to reshape the global trading system, challenging the United States' long-standing dominance. The Canada-EU alliance sends a clear message that the United States cannot dictate the terms of global trade. The willingness of these countries to stand up to the Trump administration's protectionist policies could embolden other countries to do the same. This could lead to a more multipolar trading system, one in which power is more evenly distributed among a wider range of actors. Section 9. Conclusion: the future of the G7 and the global trading order. The current trade dispute has raised fundamental questions about the future of the G7 and the rules-based multilateral trading system. The G7, once a symbol of Western unity and economic cooperation, is now deeply divided, its ability to provide global leadership severely hampered. The escalating trade war threatens to unravel the very fabric of the multilateral trading system, a system that has underpinned decades of global economic growth and prosperity. The outcome of this dispute will have far-reaching consequences not only for the countries directly involved, but for the global economy as a whole. The world watches and waits,